can we beat Slay the Spire 2 in multiplayer? Greetings, gentlemen and ladies. Welcome back. Today, we're pulling out all of the stops in making a video for the greatest collaboration that I have ever been a part of. The team of adventurers are as follows. On the defect, we have Frost Prime. He's regarded as one of the best Slay the Spire content creators, and he makes great off-meta League of Legends character guides too. On the Necrobinder, it's Otstava, a wholesome and charming titan of content creation, known for his incredible Dead by Daylight content, at least according to an anonymous tip I got. On the Silent, we have Jokat. He's renowned for his hilarious D&D guides, Final Fantasy content, and he's an incredible artist too. Finally, on the Regent, there's me, your narrator and guide for this special adventure. Now, you might be asking yourself, how are you going to edit and script this all together? And to that I'd answer, by doing my absolute best. So, sit back, get yourself comfortable for...
It's time.
Time to climb.
Climb time!
Let's do this, guys. To start, we are all presented with 3 different choices. For us, we can upgrade a card, draw 2 cards at the start of elite combats, or transform a strike and defend for 10 max health. Both Jokat and I don't hesitate in taking the transformation. Getting a knockout blow this early on solidifies us as the party's damage dealer. Jokat gets an infinite blades for shivs, and that line will make him our late game carry. After Otz finished telling us about a mosquito named Jeff, we get greeted by a couple of toadpoles. A chaotic flurry of cards come on screen. You might feel overwhelmed, but it's all very simple. Our teammates play defense for the back enemy's attack, and we send our attacks into the front one. Turn 2. We draw our knockout blow, and with a little assistance, we could remove the attacking enemy. Frost sends his dual cast, Joe aids with the slice, Otz takes it down to 45, while I hold on to the team's vulnerable. I play it, and let the stars crash from above. Next, we all scurry together defense, then send a barrage of attacks to solidify our group's first victory. For the rewards, we get 18 gold, and for the cards, it was Frost's turn to take the spotlight. Frost, you wouldn't happen to just perchance have a claw in your card rewards?
I mayhap, Susan.
And so we move forward into our first question mark event, the Doors of Light. Each of us can make a different choice here, and between random upgrade or removal, I choose the upgrade. It hits our knockout blow, which is very nice. The next combat had us face against a lone sea punk. We start our team off for success by applying both weak and vulnerable. Jokat and Otz send their attacks, Frost plays his dual cast. Our team defends fully for the punk's attack, but we take 8. Turn 2, Simplicity was on the menu. We all play our strikes and defend the incoming attack with a mix of claws and our Sovereign Blade, finishing him off. For the rewards, Jokat picks up a dagger spray for AoE, Frost has hologram for claw, and we pass for now. Entering the first merchant, we all cutely snuggle together to fit inside. Otz continued becoming our debuff specialist with his procurement of Shockwave. The rest of us choose to use the card removal service to remove the bloat from our decks. Climbing further, our next floor had us face off against a shrimp. Otz kicks things off with a Shockwave. Then it was our green light to go. An armada of attacks and a full defense. Turn 2. Jokat shows off the incredible dagger spray animation. Then it was the shrimp's turn to get fried. For the rewards, we get 20 gold, a dexterity potion which will end up saving a certain someone later, and for the cards, Photon Cut was a great addition for deck manipulation. The radiating warmth of a rest site welcomed us next. We were all healthy, so we didn't need to heal ourselves or each other. Instead, we took to Forge. Frost upgraded Claw, Jokat Neutralize, Otz chose Demesne, and we focused on Control. Moving forward, it was the merchants who surprised us. We didn't have any money, so let's move on. The guaranteed relic chest had 1 new mechanic. In multiplayer, 4 get presented. We can only pick 1 each. We have a little moment together, then Jokat gets strength, Otz dexterity, Frost picks the prayer wheel for claw, and we get the amethyst aubergine. Back to battles, we face off against 3 little weasels. Otz shockwaves their 14 down to 10. The others whittle the front one down for us, then we remove it from the field. Frost and Joe defend their attack, Otz and us take 6 damage. Turn 2. Yeah, we're all pretty strong here, so after a plethora of attacks, we send them all on their merry way. For For the rewards, we get 28 gold, and I further our defensive output with Cloak of Stars. Jokat gets a burst, and this will be important for later on. Next, we return to the campfire, all furthering our dedicated specialities. Frost and I then share our little moment together before this group of adventurers take on their first elite, the Terror Eel. 616 health was not to be taken lightly. Frost weakens the opening 17 attack down to 12. Otz plays his scaling card, we all weave in attacks and defense. The team loses 9 health. Turn 2, the fish was buffing, so his attack was little. We used this opportunity to play our scaling cards before his 18 attack was here. We draw our knockout punch, and if as a team we can reduce this eel's health to half, we can stun him. I hold confidence. We all worked together, showing what we could do, and it was just enough. The eel applies his vulnerable to us next, but by the time it was ready to attack, it dealt more than enough damage. For the rewards, we get 53 gold, an explosive potion, and for the relics, we all get something different. Ours wasn't very useful, but our card was. Conqueror. This doubles our Sovereign Blade's damage and continues to solidify us as the early damage carry. The next combat had us face the Haunted Ship, and it was here that Otz showed off his speciality. He now had a card that is completely broken, Debilitate. This doubles the downsides of vulnerable and weak on an enemy for 3 turns, and that means we all get double damage. Everyone sends their attacks. I finish the turn with our knockout blow doing 76 damage, and with it only having 34 health left, we finish it off shortly after. For the rewards, we get 27 gold, and I get the Big Bang. With our confidence at an all-time high, we decide to take on one final elite. Unfortunately for us, it was against the worst one. We don't hesitate to look at our potions. Jokat applies vulnerability to the front, Otz blankets them with weakness too. Frost and Joe get to AoE prep, we simply choose to defend. Turn 2, we manage to all take down the debilitated target. Joe unfortunately loses HP. Turn 3, we take down the back one, in particular thanks to our knockout blow, but things weren't looking good. The team continued to take damage, again and again and again. And by the end of it, we had lost over 30 health this combat. At the very least, we all got some good rewards. Otz picked up an extra life, and we got Bulwark to further enhance our big blade. The final rest site was now here. We considered healing, or at least mending, but ultimately decided to further upgrade our decks. It was now time for the boss of Act 1, the Waterfall Giant.
This boss has one important mechanic to note, its ever-increasing bomb. Once we defeat the giant, whatever the bomb's value is, will be dealt to us as explosive damage.
Otz immediately applies the debuffs. We drink a power potion and pick the Sword Sage for double sovereign damage. Then Big Bang and send it into him. Turn 2, we continue scaling our sword. Frost sends a claw. Next, the team send a cascading amount of attacks. Again and again, and we were chipping away at this boss. But for every turn we kept talking, the boss was getting ready to explode. We finally had enough to push on turn 7, our Sovereign Blade hitting for 280 damage. But it wasn't over. Not yet. 30 damage was coming to all of us. We desperately apply all of our defense, and with that, we officially took down the boss of Act 1. That was cutting it close, but we really were finding good synergies here. We get 110 gold, and for the cards, we take the Landlord's Dream.
I wanted that.
But it was Jokat that was important to emphasize here. You see, he had smartly picked up an early burst, which duplicates his next skill played. And let's just say, this Blade of Ink pairs with it like Otz and good communication. Act 2, The Hive. Bringing up Jokat's beautiful drawing of us, here's the rundown of the group's dynamic. Otstava provides debuff application and enhancement. Jokat was gaining tools to become our team's artillery cannon. I held solid damage for the interim, and Frost provided the team plasma and a claw. The ancient rewards were now upon decision. The toy box immediately caught my eye, but because it was my first time choosing it, I didn't realize we could pick which order the relics would melt away. So, naturally, I'd make the worst choices. Moving on, we enter our first combat of the act, the exoskeletons. They can only take 9 damage per attack. We all play out our lines of scaling cards, defense, and a few random attacks. Without any communication, we all chose the middle one as our least favorite. It was the back one's turn next, and with thanks to Frost's extra energy supply, all of our attacks were running at full speed. They leave us all behind a potion. I get a lot of gold, and for the cards, we pick up Royal Gamble. Jokat gets flanking, and that doubles all damage allies deal for a turn. Yeah. We then all remove a card, upgrade our specialities furthermore. Frost gets to play Hyper Beam, then we all visit a rest site once again. With our damage starting to plateau, I choose to upgrade this Largis support card we picked up from the previous combat. At the next event, we all had a choice. Either add 1 of 5 random cards to our deck, or get a colourless card reward. I choose the colourless, and would you look at that? A panache. Hey! An additional relic chest was up next, in part thanks to Otz choosing the golden map from the Ancient. It housed basic utility relics, and not much were of note. The potion courier then stopped by, and it was here that Frost decided to give chance to the 3 foul potions. These can be played to hit all allies and enemies, or thrown at the merchant for 100 gold each. The guaranteed relic chest of the Act offered a much stronger selection than the one previous. Vajra gave strength, Gorget painting, Scythe wanted lots of attacks, and Chandelier gives energy. Joe and Otz peacefully pick theirs. Frost and I play rock, paper, scissors, which was so cool. Now, it was time for a dangerous elite. The Centaurian's grandfather. All of our opening hands were very strong. Otz applies debuff and double vulnerable, Jokat doubles our damage. We bring together a slew of attacks, and on its first turn, we take him down past half health, but it wasn't without cost. Both Joe and Otz set up, and that cost them 10 damage each. Turn 2. Frost gives me Plasma, I give him a jackpot, and that deals 60 damage. Attacks were flying, we were confident, and neither of us were letting the team take any more damage. We all get to pick up the Lantern Key, that's a quest for us to turn in later. For the cards, there was nothing of interest. We now get to see how the merchant reacts to these foul potions. It worked. With nearly 700 gold in our pocket, we were taking some offerings. Card removal, Child of Stars for block, and the Millennium Puzzle. Consistency was now our friend. Standing before the elite, we all watched Jokat in awe create an afterimage of the enemy we just fought, before we ventured into battle against the infected Prism. This was one of the easier elites that we could have asked for, well, except for Otz. You see, Otz really embraced becoming the team's debuff foundation, so much so that he had been neglecting his own perseverance. Thankfully, he had a potion. The following turn, it was more of the same. Attacks, setup, Osty, no! Before we lost any more health, our Sovereign Blade reined everything in. We pick up the Vambrace relic for our defense and a Crush Under for our teams. We now all had the chance to take a deep breath. There was a consideration for mending and resting here, but everyone had upgrades that needed to happen. Our last fight of Act 2 was against the Deku Hero PDs. This was a scary fight. We band together. Frost gives us Plasma straight away. I get to using our Crush to reduce the enemy's strength. Otz keeps everything debuffed, and Jokat comes online. Blade of Ink. Every attack he gains 3 strength. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Back dead, middle dead, front nearly. This was absolutely insane. But then we all kind of dropped the ball, letting them regenerate. Again, and again, and again. We take over 30 damage and leave this battle with a few wounds. For the rewards, we get back our block potion, a letter opener, and for the cards, I pick up the Bombardment. Not for logical reasons, but because it looked cool. We enter the final rest site. Spirits held high. We felt good. We felt confident. Upgrades were had all round, and then it was time for the boss of Act 2, Mr. Krabs.
This big crab has 2 important mechanics. First, we take 50% extra damage from whichever claw is currently behind us. And second, when we defeat one of them, the other gets a bunch of block and gains strength.
We all look to the left one, then get to set up. Otz applies Doom. I weaken. Frost gets ready to claw. Then Jokat does a lot of damage. We all manage to defend. Turn 2. It was more of the same. Our focus shifts to the right one, and they break through some of our team's defense. Turn 3. Problems began to show. We didn't manage to get much done, but the boss did. Frail and weakness applied to the entire party. Now the right pincer was ready to launch. We had to defend this attack. Otz gets to doubling their weak potency. We all scurry together defense. I drink our block potion, and then the crab launches his claw. I was starting to get worried, but with a mixture of Frost's energy, Otz debuffs, and Jokat's double damage, This one card completely removed the crab's right arm, and with all of us now fully set up, we send this crab back to the void it was created. Our team's dynamics were really coming together, though it wasn't after the setup I had concerns of, it was the before. For the rewards, we get 110 gold and an incredible card, Decisions. This lets us draw 3 cards, then pick a skill in our hand to play 3 times. The group also pick up more synergetic cards before we move into Act 3. Glory. Returning to the Adventurer's Compendium, this is how we looked. My role had now changed from a glass cannon to a supporting fighter. Frost was now a stacked scaling claw dragon with a team-wide energy supply. Jokat's damage level was over 9,000, and Otz continued being the team's backbone for debuff application. We enter together into the Ancient's Domain, and out of these relic options, I pick up the Black Star, for the path we had been eyeing up had a lot of elites. Greeting us to the act was the Centaurian and his Gatling cannon assistant. We all get to work, both setting up and whittling down the Rattata. We then defend the Tin Man's attack. Otz puts a little too much faith into Otzi, with us all finishing him off the following turn. For the rewards, we get 50 gold, and for the cards, Largis would allow us to further support our allies should the need ever arise. Moving forward, we face off against a lone cultist. Jokat and Otz harmoniously synergize with debilitation, doubling vulnerable damage for us all and the 2 flankings to quadruple our damage. Frost and I then get to work with our Sovereign Blade dealing 120 damage. But it was the following turn where things got a little crazy. Frost plays Claws, Jokat sends Shivs, Claws, Shivs, Claws, Shivs, Reap! Holy! The spoils of victory hand us 53 gold, the Clarity Extract Potion, and for the cards, Jokat adds accuracy, Frost gets another claw, and we add some more defense. The team then had an important decision to make, how to use our Lantern Key. Freeing Repi will give us a powerful relic. Unlocking the chest would give us 2 random relics and 2 potions each. The reward didn't matter. We were saving this frog. Repi is free, and this relic is nothing to scoff at either. Next, we swished and flicked into combat against Buckbeak. This guy has a lot of health. We all focus on buffing ourselves and debuffing the enemy. Jokat sends a few shivs, and Otz protects Osti. Turn 2, 18 damage was now showing. The team had to defend. We couldn't land many attacks. Turn 3, we managed to land a few together, but then disaster struck. When Buckbeak is in the air, he takes 50% less damage. We all tried our best to take him down, double flanking, attack after attack and attack, but it wasn't enough. Jokat hoped it would be, and he was naked, taking the full 24 attack straight to the face. A painful lesson had been learnt. For the rewards, we pick up some draw, then chat demanded a certain someone to pick up yet another claw. The first elite of the act was one of my least favourites, the Triple Knights. If you don't know, the middle knight will force all cards to become ethereal, and the back one removes their upgrades. These last until they specifically get defeated. I get some block, weaken the front one, then assess our potions. Jokat's had shivs, so this was a great time to give him a strength potion. All our cards are now ethereal. We need to remove this middle knight. Attacks begin to fly from all of us, but they weren't enough. We lose our hands and some health. The team managed to remove it the following turn, but there was a cost. Both Jokat and Otz take further damage. It was a brutal fight for sure. The rewards definitely kept us happy though. A skill potion, the Whetstone relic for upgrades, a blood vial for health, then a Devastate too. Don't mind if we do. As we all ventured into the guaranteed relic chest, a question had popped into one of our minds.
Wait, what happens if we all select the same thing? Can we try that?
Okay.
Sure.
No!
Elimination.
I guess I get the extra.
And then we just pick the rest.
We then spend our gold on an energy relic and card removal. All embrace corruption to increase a card's damage by 50%. Make a good upgrade decision and absolutely annihilate the easiest enemies of the Spire. All 4 of us had now fully entered our speciality states, and with one final elite to take care of, we were ready. Our opening turns were good. Frost, Otz and myself set up for the future turns. I throw some cards to Jokat, he sends some shivs into the elite. Otz takes a chunk of health, not much to note for turn 2. Claws and trickling of damage from us, the enemy fills our hands with burns. Turn 3, we continue setting up the best we could. Ots for friendship, Frost for claw. Then we all sat watching these burn animations for a little bit of time. Its big attack was now here. We all had options, potions were being discussed. Drawing through cards, we all managed to attain the defense needed, mostly. And with all of us now set up, we absolutely dismantle Baby Yoda's contraption. For the rewards, we get a block potion, the unsettling lamp, and anchor. Then, for the cards, Foregone Conclusion would allow us to access more support should we need. Okay, one final rest site to go. I sat taking in this wonderful group of adventurers I had somehow found myself lucky to sit beside. Upgrade our Foregone Conclusion, then... wait a second. Ots, please tell me, you're resting, right?
Oh, I've got plenty of health, trust me. You still have that dex potion though, right?
It was now time for the final boss of the Spire. Test subject #C10.
This weird-smelling guy actually embodies 3 elites from Slay the Spire 1. First, Gremlin Knob, then Book of Stabbing, and then finally, the Nemesis.
The Gremlin Knob was up first. The skills we each played buffed its attack for all of us. We had to be careful. I apply weak. We carefully add defense, then I plead with Ots to let me defend him. The team loses a total of 28 health from his attack. Turn 2, we all go to town. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and strike. 2 enemies left. The next one was Stabby McStabberson. Any attacks that break through block will give us a wound. We give each other cards. Frost provides us all energy. Ots throws on the debilitate. Joe says, let's spill some ink. Then Claw. Claw, we defend, and Claw! A free turn was now afforded. We set up each other furthermore. Then it was Nemesis who arrived. Intangible on the first turn means we can only try and defend its 30 attack. Potions were now to be played, and finally, Ots lets me throw him a dex potion. The 4 of us fully defend its triple attack. Before it was now time to recite one of the oldest laws in Slay the Spire tradition. The Law of the Claw. What a way to finish off this team's adventure, and thank you all so much for watching this video. I still can't believe I got to be a part of it. Now, for some appreciation. Firstly, Frost, thank you so much for inviting me. I had an incredible time and I really do appreciate you. Second, Frost, JoeCat, and Otstava, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to help voice parts of this video. And finally, to the people who support me creating these videos on Patreon, Broccoli Emoji, Druv, Borsey, Mew, Bill, Datfish Gaming, Roju, Maths, Splashed, Pokemon Trainer Mike, Citroyus, Disselfur, Reams, Sarah, Tamsin, Those Things, Mum and Dad. Thank you for helping me to pursue content creation full time. And that's it. I hope that you all enjoyed the video, and as the weather is warming up, remember to, as always, stay hydrated.
Shiv, 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 and shiv, 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 and finisher.